Greetings everyone, and welcome to another Timey Wimey Tuesday DVD update this time. Yeah, no Blu-rays this time around, just good old-fashioned DVD, because, well, the stuff I got isn't available on Blu-ray, so what are you gonna do? Well, not specifically Doctor Who this time around, but certainly Doctor Who related. At least one of the two items I picked up is, in a pretty significant way actually, but both of them are mystery related, and you know I love a mystery, especially British mystery. British mystery is just the bee's knees. So, been wanting to get both of these collections for a very long time, and having recently gone on a big shopping binge and imported a lot of stuff from the UK, I decided to throw these two into the mix. Got a pretty good deal on them, can't complain. So what are they? Mysteries. Kinda related to Doctor Who, huh? You got me curious, Z. Tell me more. Well, I will, right after the titles. Mysteries, British Mysteries, today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. So the first collection I picked up is something that's been on my radar for a very long time. It's a series of adaptations of a bunch of mystery novels by one of my all-time favorite mystery authors, Minette Walters. Minette Walters is a mystery author that first came to my attention via one of the movie or miniseries adaptations of her books, specifically one called The Sculptress. I remember it was being shown on Showcase Television here in Canada, and I kept seeing promotions for it, and it was getting a lot of attention, a lot of press. I don't think I watched it when it was originally on. I might have seen a bit of it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see the whole thing when it aired. It wasn't until years later that I found it just in my wanderings on the internet and finally got to see it. Before that, it kind of stuck in my head for a number of years. So in between first hearing about it and then finally seeing it years later, I was working at Chapters, which is a Canadian bookstore chain, and the name just kind of crossed my mind again, I guess, when I was browsing the mystery section. I thought, oh yeah, Minette Walters, the Sculptress and stuff like that. I noticed that she had published quite a number of books, so I picked up the first few. Let me just show you here. And decided to read them in the order that they came out. So we have The Ice House, which was her first novel. And I'm actually going to give you guys a closer look at the covers of these books, because I think they're just gorgeous covers. But look at that. I mean, beautiful embossed gold letters for the author title. The title of the book is also embossed. And the majority of the cover is this beautiful matte finish. And I just love the sort of surreal artwork. And most of her books, at least the initial publications of them, follow a similar kind of design philosophy. So this is The Ice House. So I bought this and just devoured it. It was absolutely amazing, and I could already see why she was such a highly regarded mystery author. So, having read this, I went straight on to The Sculptress, the one that actually put her on the map for me. Let me just give you a little look at this. And there we go. And look at that, winner of the Edgar Allan Poe Award. And that kind of leads me to why I enjoy her stories so much, is because they kind of ride the line between mystery and horror. There's a lot of elements in these books and in these stories that are dark and disturbing and, you know, twisted. And a lot of the mysteries don't necessarily have definitive answers to them. Sometimes there's elements of the solution that are left kind of ambiguous. This is a good example, actually. And a lot of the mystery of this one, for example, is, did the person who appears to have done the murder actually do the murder, or is it something else? So it's not just a whodunit, but it's sometimes a matter of, you're told who did it at the beginning, but are you? You got to read the book to find out. It's great stuff. I love the sort of twisty-turny nature of it. And here we have her third book, The Scold's Bridal. A scold basically being, I guess, a British term for you know, an unpleasant, loud, obnoxious woman. And in this case, the obnoxious, loud woman in question is put in a bridle, essentially muzzled. Yeah, so she touches on a lot of subjects like that. Like in this case, kind of elder abuse and stuff like that. And then in The Sculptress, it's, you know, murder. In this one, it's, you know, quite contemporary. It's a group of women who live together in a big old mansion, and there's a body discovered in the ice house that one of them may have had something to do with the murder or not. Gotta read the book and find out. But I love that it keeps you guessing and has those darker elements to it. Yeah, so the interesting thing about these books is they're not just the straightforward narrative. I mean, for the most part they are, but they include additional material. Like this, for example, we have newspaper clippings about events that occurred around the house that the women live in, and things like that, and other things relating to the characters. And then we have like a map of the grounds and whatnot. So there's little extra bits added in there. Sometimes it'll be newspaper clippings or notes that are found, or police reports and things like that, that almost make you feel like more a part of the investigation as the characters are trying to figure out the mystery. So it's great stuff, and I can't recommend them highly enough. I might as well show you the other two here. I pulled these 5 books off the shelf specifically because these are the only ones thus far that have ever been adapted for the screen. So here we have The Dark Room, which is her 4th book. Very nice. This one actually doesn't have the matte finish. It has more of a glossy finish on the cover, but still you get the nice embossed author name and title. I do like that they all kind of follow a uniform style. Like it very much, they all have these surreal covers. And then finally, I'll just have to hold this one up. We have The Echo, which I have in hardcover. I think I got this as like a Christmas gift. But again, same cover style, just this is the hardcover edition. But really nice. So I show you those as kind of a lead up here, just to show, you know, what a fan I am of Minette Walters. But I've been wanting to get the miniseries adaptations for a very long time, because I mean, let's face it, nobody does miniseries adaptations of books better than the BBC, you know. They're usually pretty rock solid adaptations. So I was kind of curious to see how the adaptations would compare to the books. And having read the first 2 books and watched the first 2 screen adaptations, I can say they compare very nicely. They're actually pretty much rock solid, perfect adaptations. So I don't know that they were ever released on DVD here in North America, but I think 1 or 2 of them got VHS releases like a million years ago. So the only option really to get them on DVD was to get the UK set. But as they were all originally done in PAL mode anyway, why not get the PAL DVDs and see them in as close as possible to their original quality? So the first 5 books were adapted. Let me put it up on the shelf here for you, and you can get a look at the cover. There we go. So we have the Ice House. They adapted them kind of out of order. I don't know if that's the order they adapted them, listed on the cover there. But I've arranged them in my set in book order, just because I'm kind of anal that way. So we did the Ice House, the Echo, the Dark Room, the Sculptress, and the Scold's Bridal. And I'll just spin it around so you can see the spine there. There we go. And then we'll just turn it around and show you the back there, which is kind of pointless because it's exactly the same as the front. But then if we look at the side, there's all the individual titles there. So if we just pop them out here, I'm not going to line them all up on the shelf for you, but you get basically the idea. We got the Ice House here. Starring a very pre-James Bond Daniel Craig, by the way, doing like this kind of strange, almost lilting Irish accent, I think, sort of. Yeah, I'm very different from his James Bond voice, but, you know, he's always great. And then of course, we have the Sculptress, This is such a good adaptation. I highly recommend it. I recommend both of them, actually. Now, I haven't watched the other three because I haven't read the other three books yet. I might just jump ahead and watch the adaptations. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So then we have The Scold's Bridal. And then we have The Dark Room. There we go. And finally, The Echo. With Clive Owen, no less. Yeah, got some famous faces in these. And there we go. And who's the... Oh, and Joel Lee Richardson. Yeah. So we got... definitely have some familiar faces in these adaptations. It's wonderful. Where are we going here? So we go there, and there, and there. So each one of these adaptations was 2 90-minute episodes. So basically a good solid 3 hours of dark, disturbing mystery to enjoy. Very cool. Love those. Can't wait to rewatch the ones I've seen and see the ones I haven't seen, and probably give me incentive to read the books too. The books themselves are like super fast reads. Like you can just they're real page turners, to coin a phrase that's far overused. But yeah. So last but most certainly not least, this is something that's been on my radar for a very long time, and well, it was kind of hard to find for a while. It only just recently got a DVD release, I think. Yeah, 2024. So that could be why I didn't find it. Although I think it did have some other releases previously. But I mean, this was the one to get because it just has everything together in one package. I'm, of course, talking about Whodunnit, or Doctor Whodunnit. Because you might recognize the chap in the magnifying glass there as none other than Doctor Number 3, Jon Pertwee. Yes, and here you were wondering, when's the Doctor Who connection coming? Why is this on a Timey Wimey Tuesday? Well, that's why. Let's take a look at that here. So, there's the front cover. And there's the back. Not a lot to look at there, but quite a lot of information about the show. So let me just spin this around here, and I'll tell you a little bit about what this is. So Whodunnit ran for, what was it, 4 series? 5 series? Something like that? Anyway, it has everything. Every single episode exists. Huzzah! A British series with no missing episodes.
Whodunnit began with a pilot episode in 1972, followed by 2 series in 1973 and 1974, a 1974 Christmas special, then 4 more series from 1975 to 1978, for a total of 6 series, 1 special, and the pilot, for a grand total of 48 episodes. All 48 episodes are included in the DVD collection.
So what Whodunnit is it's kind of like one of those Evening of Murder things where there would be a bunch of people playing like particular roles. In this case, you know, one will be the inspector, one will be the person who gets murdered, and then there will be a whole bunch of people who are the suspects, usually played by fairly recognizable British stars of the time. This series originally came out in the 70s, from 1972 to 1978, so I guess 6 series? So the first series was hosted by the Equalizer himself, Edward Woodward, about 10 years before he became the Equalizer. And then Series 2 until the end was hosted by Jon Pertwee. This is basically what Jon Pertwee went on and did immediately after Doctor Who. In fact, in his very first episode, he says, "Hello, I'm your host, Jon Pertwee, and welcome to Whodunnit," or if you like, Doctor Whodunnit. Little nod to the fans. But, so what it is, you would see a dramatization of the murder, and you're supposed to pay attention for any potential clues. And then, you know, the inspector will show up and he'll be talking to everybody and trying to piece together the mystery. And again, listen to what everybody says, try to piece together the clues. And then during the show, they would have, you know, a couple of guests who would interrogate the characters from the dramatization. So you'd have all the actors who were in the dramatization present in the studio, in character. So this is why I say it's like one of those Evening of Murder things. and then the guest panelists would question them and try to figure out who the killer was. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs to be had along the way and stuff like that. And it's just a really fun show. I saw a few of them online a number of years ago, and I was like, oh man, I really got to get I got to find a DVD set of this. And then, so again, just as I was kind of searching around and looking for stuff looking for British stuff that I could import that wasn't necessarily available here, I found out they just put out a big complete series set of it, quite reasonably priced. So I was like, score, I'll just get that. So yeah, I've already watched a few episodes from it, and it's just such a hoot. It's a really fun series, and if you're a fan of John Pertwee, it's an absolute must-watch just to see him kind of hamming it up as the host and having a grand old time. But also just generally seeing all the familiar faces in the cast. I mean, a lot of Doctor Who alumni show up in the cast, and a lot of actors from other big shows of the day. You'll recognize a lot of faces if you know who the sort of big stars were from that era, especially television stars in Britain and stuff. So it's pretty neat to see. So yeah, pretty excited to have that one in the collection, because you know me, I mean the Third Doctor is one of my favorite Doctors, and I'm just generally a huge fan of John Pertwee. I think he was just one of those terrific, larger-than-life personalities, and always a delight to see in interviews, and of course as the Doctor, and in just about anything that he's ever done. So this is a big one, because he was the host for darn near the whole series. So there you go. If you're a John Pertwee fan, definitely check that one out. Also, if you're an Edward Woodward fan, he hosts Series 1. So, very cool stuff. Well, folks, that is it from me to you for now. A week of mystery. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.